Takeoff, part of the popular group Migos, gunned down early this morning in Houston.
PNB Rock, he was shot and killed while eating at a Los Angeles restaurant.
A shooting downtown that killed Chicago rapper King Von and another man.
The rap industry today is known to be just as dangerous as the streets, so rappers have to stay strapped or tighten up their security. But even with that protection, some rappers still get caught lacking. Sadly, some of these rappers end up getting killed. Keep watching until the end of this video to see Rappers Caught Lackin. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. BFG Strap. Was BFG Strap caught lacking? Maybe not, but he ended up 6 feet under, and he sure as hell didn't see that one coming. I bet you're thinking, well, how'd he get caught lacking? Here's what went down. A while back, BFG Strap was friends with Dallas rapper Cutta 900. The two basically did everything typical friends would do until their relationship went south. BFG Strap and Cutta 900 went from friends to enemies and began dissing each other on social media. They even went as far as making diss tracks aimed at each other. Then BFG Strap decided to turn the beef up a notch. On one fateful night in May 2022, BFG Strap broke into Cutta's home and made away with $10,000 in cash, Cutta's guns, and jewelry. To top it off, he did all of these on video and sent the video to Cutta. Of course, Cutta 900 wouldn't let his op rob him and brag about it, so he decided to challenge BFG Strap to a fight. But unknown to them both, this was only the beginning of the end. An unshaken BFG Strap took Cutta up for his challenge, and he asked Cutta to bring the fight to his hood, 2800 block at Casey Street. Now, anyone on the streets of Dallas, Texas knows that Casey Street is known for the craziest gang activities that go down in town. And when you go in there as an op, it'll take a miracle to come back alive. But Cutta 900 had a point to prove, and he decided to ride into Casey Street with his homies, ready to beat up BFG Strap. On getting there, BFG Strap showed up for the fight, as promised, and the two went down on each other, but only one man stood up victorious, BFG Strap. He stood his words as he beat the life out of Cutta. But Cutta couldn't just take the loss and leave. So what did he do? He pulled out a gun and shot BFG Strap from the back. Of course, all of these happened on Strap's block, so he was surrounded by his homies. Some guys rushed to take him to the hospital, while others made sure Cutta didn't get out of the block alive. Word on the street was that Cutta's face turned into a pulp by the time the guys were done shooting at him. Sadly, BFG Strap, who was only 22 years old, didn't survive his bullet wounds and passed away at the hospital. Takeoff. The shootings and killings of rappers became so frequent that when rappers popped up in the news, everyone's first instinct was, oh, they died. But when the headlines showed rapper Takeoff's name on November 1st, 2022, everyone hoped the words that followed wouldn't be that he had passed away. But sadly, that was exactly what followed. Takeoff had gone partying with his uncle Quavo on Halloween night. The two left Atlanta for Texas, where they went to attend a birthday Halloween party at a bowling alley located at 810 Billiards and Bowling. All was going well at the party with about 40 to 50 people in attendance until an argument over basketball broke out during a game of dice. Rapper Quavo sat at a round table with a couple of people as they played a game of dice. Unfortunately, Quavo didn't get a good hand, so he lost. On top of that, they were arguing about basketball, and all of it seemed to upset him even more. His nephew Takeoff stood by the side of the table, watching and observing, like every other person who wasn't involved in the game. However, Quavo didn't want the situation to escalate further than it already did, so he decided to leave. In a clip that went viral from the fateful day, Quavo was heard saying, "Let's go. I ain't doing like this before I hurt somebody, bro." And just a few seconds after making that statement, shots rang in the air. And rapper Takeoff's body dropped to the ground. Takeoff getting caught lacking will undoubtedly go down as one of the saddest deaths in all of rap's history. PNB Rock. Los Angeles has gone from Hollywood's home to a graveyard for rappers. Over the years, we've seen many rappers gunned down on the streets of LA, but no one would have imagined that rapper PNB Rock would be the next victim. PNB Rock's death was a huge shock to the rap community. All he wanted to do was get some food with the mother of his child at Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles in South Los Angeles when a father and son duo decided that it seemed like a good day to rob. Only the robbery went south. On the fateful day of the shooting, PNB Rock's girlfriend, Stephanie Sibuan Huang, shared a location tag of where they had gone to have lunch on her Instagram story. However, barely 30 minutes after her post, two men showed up with guns in the restaurant and began robbing everyone. But rapper PNB Rock seemed to have had more than enough for them to take home, as he had his iced jewelry and diamond chains on. The gunman proceeded to ask him to take off his jewelry, which he did. However, as soon as he handed them the jewelry, they pulled the trigger on him and fled. Had he known he'd be taken out while he tried to eat chicken, he would have stayed strapped in there, but PNB Rock was caught lacking. His girlfriend faced backlash after the tragic incident as people began to accuse her of exposing his location. We've seen a couple of rappers get killed by their ops simply because they knew their location. Rappers like FBG Duck, Nipsey Hussle, and many more. However, according to witnesses at the scene and eventually a police report, the father and son duo were already at the restaurant parking lot when PNB Rock and his girlfriend pulled up. So they didn't just show up after his girlfriend made her Instagram post. Trouble. Now, it's one thing for a tough street man to be caught lacking on the streets, but believe me when I tell you it's a whole other crazy story to be caught lacking in a woman's bed. That's the craziest way to take out a street man, and sadly for rapper Trulla, that's exactly how he lost his life. Let's play this back to the man who pulled the trigger that took Trulla's life. Now, a man who has come to be identified as Jamichael Jones was in a relationship with a certain woman whose identity was kept anonymous, for obvious reasons, until she decided she had had enough of Jamichael being jobless and unable to pay the bills and didn't want to be in a relationship with him anymore. So she called it off, and an angry Jamichael responded by punching her in the face before fleeing the scene. She didn't press charges or anything. I mean, she didn't think it'd be more than a punch. Until Jamichael showed up at her home with a gun in his hands on the fateful night of June 5th, 2022. He didn't think there would be a man in her bed, but finding rapper Trulla lying right next to his ex only angered him more. He woke his ex up with a punch to the face and proceeded to fight her, all the while ignoring Trulla. But of course, the noise startled Trulla, who jerked up from his sleep to defend the woman lying right next to him. But Jamichael decided to pull the trigger, shooting Trulla right in the chest just once, and that bullet was more than enough to cut the rapper's life short. When the authorities arrived at the scene, Trulla was found lying on the floor in his own pool of blood. Jamichael Jones was arrested and denied bond. Little to no information has been heard regarding his arrest. That's the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more content. Thanks.